Happy Thursday to you. I hope you're doing well. Today I want to wrap up a little two-part series I have on a seminar I used to give all the time to professional pet sitters, dog walkers, and just family members like yourself who may be called upon to watch another family member's or friend's dog. And the title of the seminar was Enter at Your Own Risk. And it talks heavily about territorial aggression. Territorial aggression, the second leading cause of dog bite fatalities in the world, especially in this country. So that means we have to pay attention to it. Again, I've been a victim of it, not a fatality, of course, because I'm standing right here, but I've been scarred both emotionally and physically from my attacks when I've been on other people's properties, whether I knew I was on there or I didn't know I was on there. Nevertheless, territorial aggression is real. In a quick recap of yesterday, I read from Edward O. Wilson, his book on human nature. And I read about a part in his book in which he describes territories that within them, there's an invincible center. For a wolf, that would be the denning site or the rendezvous camp when there's offspring on the ground. So there's a place within a territory that is the most vigorously defended place on earth. And that would be more akin to your home inside of a yard or your apartment inside of a building or the surrounding property. Dogs don't understand deed lines and property lines. They simply will inherit a territory large enough to be economically defensible. And that means it could extend outside the boundaries of your own yard. You take your dog on a walk every single day around the same area, and I guarantee if they're more of a producer type personality, they will start to now incur, bring in all of that property and just take ownership of it. They will. But it's the invincible center that's called your home, which is the area that is most vigorously defended. Always has been, always will be. I cannot see anything in the foreseeable future that would change that. And that means that we have to pay attention when we're going over to other people's homes, entering into the invincible center of an animal, especially when there's no one else there but you. The owners have left for vacation or whatever reason that they called you over to take care of their dog. You are on your own. You're walking in there. You don't have support. You're on your own. So again, you could probably do this a million times and never have an incident one. This is for those who could be the number one. They could be that person. They could be like me. I'd like to think I know a thing or two about animals. And I've certainly survived many trials in my life. But yet I went in and I was a victim of trespassing on an animal's invincible center. And I've also done it on humans. And it's not fun either way. So please pay attention to this as I'm going to wrap this up. Yesterday we talked about what's the difference between a pet sitter, a friend that's going to come over and pet sit for your dog versus a visitor. Usually it's just the absence of you. That's the big exception. However, you can get a little bit of predictive information simply based upon how your animal responds to strangers who enter your home, to your guest. We also talked about how animals don't know your family all the time. What's family to a dog? Family is familiarity. They thrive on familiarity. It's really important. Kinship, kin selection, all relies upon familiarity. A man is more likely to throw himself on a grenade for what he feels is a brother versus a cousin. It's about kin selection. Do I know you? Are you part of the family? And even if you are part of the family, if you leave for a prolonged period of time, and for every dog, that's different. That's different with every single dog out there. I had my police dog, Yager, that was my best friend and my pal and my incredible partner for many years as a police officer. But when I left the police force, he was meant to be a police dog. And so I donated him to a sheriff's department in which the dog previous to him had been killed in the line of duty. And I donated him. And he became a police dog for that particular sheriff's department. I went back to visit Yager a little over a year later, and he bit me. Yeah. So again, I'd kind of gotten erased, or I got put on the old back burner as Trooper Mark Buckner or Sheriff Mark Buckner was his new handler. So things happen. It does. So don't count on the fact that simply because you're family, and I know you, I may not have seen you for a year, but your dog may not look at you the same way. So we have to take precautions with that. And then lastly, we talked about how owners, if you know someone's coming to your house to take care of your dog, whether they're just going to walk your dog during the middle of the day, whether someone's going to visit, take care of your dog, make sure you give them every opportunity to succeed at their job. And part of that is by trying to negate the even greater source of aggression called competitive aggression. By not leaving food on the ground, by picking up toys, picking up anything of high value to the dog. If you've ever had to wage war with your dog over anything, you need to pull it up. If your dog has shown that's willing to go after another dog in your household over a certain toy, certain bone, certain food, then you need to pick it up. If your dog has been known to show aggression to anybody who visits or any other dog that comes over to your house, if it's around the pantry area where the food is kept inside the kitchen, you need to warn the pet sitter or your friend of that very thing. Be careful around the kitchen with my dog. You need to do these things. Give this person that's coming to your home the greatest opportunity to succeed that you possibly can. Okay, so after that, now it's on your own. But before I launch into that real quick, I want to read one more tiny little excerpt from Edward O. Wilson, again, one of the most premier biologists that ever lived on this planet, Pulitzer Prize winning author, an incredible author, and with a more incredible insight into human and animal behavior. And he talked in his book about how we can't help but be territorial. You can't. No one's going to completely share everything with everyone. No one does that, and no one ever will. Because not only do territories provide a safe dwelling place for your offspring, but it serves to keep populations from exploding in the animal kingdom or crashing. It does that. Only humans have been able to contradict that by importing and exporting goods into their territories. But other than that, it's in us. And when we didn't have that capability, Edward O. Wilson writes in his book, war can be defined as the violent rupture of the intricate and powerful fabric of territorial taboos observed by social groups. Primitive men divide the world into two tangible parts: the near environment of home, local villages, kin, friends, tame animals, and witches, and the more distant universe of neighboring villages, intertribal allies, enemies, wild animals, and ghosts. This elemental topography makes easier the distinction between enemies who can be attacked and killed and friends who cannot. That's primitive man, and that is actually seen on this planet today in many underdeveloped countries and regions within countries like the Amazon rainforest and in Indonesia. A few other areas. I've seen it myself in Africa when I spent years there studying lions and East African hunting dogs. You will see that. They don't have modern technology. They're not importing anything. They're not exporting a darn thing. They're simply living in their territories, and they kind of divide their world into two parts: near home, near environment, and the far environment, the other one further away. So if we do it, I know for a fact that our dogs do it. So moving along here, again, we did talk about the Invincible Center, and we also talked about how familiarity is everything. Make sure your dog is very familiar with that stranger that's going to be walking your home. That stranger can no longer be a stranger to your dog, to increase the likelihood that you will be safe when you come to visit that dog. Make sure the dog knows you, can smell you. Make sure you talk to the dog, interact with the dog, and understands your gestures. Make sure you're doing things that you would do out of the home that probably typical guests would not. You're sweeping something up so an animal gets used to seeing you with a stick or with a broom, or you're poop scooping, or you're shaking open a bag. Pop, that bag opens. Things like that that you would never ever think of before. Make sure you go through those, run it through your head. Plan, and then work it out with the dog. Typically takes about 30 minutes on most times to kind of get familiar with the dog a little bit. And if you can come over a little bit more, it definitely certainly, it will help. Okay, so moving on from there, real quick, I want to talk about always expect the unexpected. Always. I don't care if you've seen the dog before. I don't care if this is visit number 5. Always expect the unexpected. You don't have a clue as to what kind of dog you're going to encounter on trip number 5. Yeah, trip 1 through 4, the dog may have been in its calm zone, in an emotional state called my calm zone. But now there's some, because something happened before your arrival, whether it be something falling on the roof, someone banging on the door next door, a million things could happen that could cause the dog to be way, 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 way up in its arousal column. It could have just been a thunderstorm that came and went, but no one bothered to tell you that the dog suffers from astrophobia. The dog's way up here. And when the dog is way up in that arousal column, remember the threshold of what I'll attack and not attack, or what I'm afraid of and not afraid of, that ceiling is very, very low. It's not a high ceiling. That threshold just drops way down. And I'll be talking more about that on my pharmacotherapy series that's going to be coming up here soon. So again, always expect the unexpected. Because if nothing goes south, great. But if it does, you expected it. And that goes for survival. I don't go out in the woods one time. I don't go on any hike. I don't go anywhere away from the safety of my home or my friends or my family without having a plan. I had all sorts of plans when I traveled overseas a lot. I've been to 38 different countries. I've traveled most of my life. And a lot of places I went to, it was very hostile. Yeah, you just took the chance that there are some people who did not want you there. They did not want you on their territory, not in their invisible center. But I had to go nevertheless. And I had all sorts of protocols worked out that if I ever made a phone call and I dropped a certain line, if you didn't hear from me in a certain amount of days, always had a SAR unit. So anytime I was up in the Alaskan wild on my own, the satellite flies over. If I fail to hit a button at a certain time, that thing immediately launches search and rescue platforms and notifies everyone. You have to expect the unexpected. And anyone who goes into a household with a dog and they're not doing that, wow, shame on you. Don't get complacent. Don't ever get complacent. So expect the unexpected. Okay, moving along. When it happens, be prepared. Because when it does happen, it's going to happen really fast. Really fast. For aggression to be effective, it has to be swift. So it's going to come on you like a freight train. I kid you not. You've got to be ready for this thing. So make sure you're equipped and ready for the unexpected. Part of my equipment that I would use when I would go do pet sitting, or I know I'm going to someone's home, even when I used to go to people's homes and do private lessons with them, I was always prepared for the unexpected, and it saved me. I cannot tell you how many times it saved me. I'm just being truthful to you. I have many witnesses out there, and even those who own the dogs will tell you. I was always prepared. Number one, I entered homes with a backpack. And where was the backpack? It was not on my back. It was right here in front of me. That's a shield. That's something you can use to fight off a dog, and it's something that you can feed the dog. So that means in case you have to feed the dog, make sure the really, really important stuff is not in that backpack. I learned that little trick from my mentor up in Alaska. Then it was further reinforced when I was in the military. Yeah, you're in a tap and go, in a type of situation, you've got to get out of there. The first thing you're going to shirk is that 80-pound rucksack on your back. So that means that's why they made cargo pockets. They may be out of style now for most people, but in the military, that's why they were there. You carried everything from vital first aid to ammunition to anything, water, extra meal packets. Those things that you're going to need to survive on without that darn rucksack. So you can dump and get rid of it. And you need to do the same thing. So make sure whatever you have in that backpack is something that you can leave with that dog and get out of that door. And make sure that the dog grabs it, throws it out of the way, and then comes at you. You've got something else to back you up. Another thing to have is either pepper spray or bear mace. You've heard me talk about it before. I'm a huge fan of bear mace. Pepper spray will work fine in a home in which everything's kind of like close quarter battle. CQB, baby. It's in close, in control type situation. You're being attacked right there in a tight foyer. You don't have to worry about accuracy. You can just use your pepper spray. It goes good about 6 to 8 feet. You can use that. If it's further away, if you stepped out in the backyard and because the owner let the dog in the backyard, but the backyard's a good half acre to an acre, and this dog is charging you, and you do a really quick assessment, and you think, okay, it's going to take me 4 seconds to get back to that back door. It's going to take this dog 2. Then that's when you're going to need your bear mace. Bear mace can shoot out to 30, 40 feet, even in a strong wind. Just use that. This will incapacitate the animal. It will not kill the animal. I have had to use bear mace on, I cannot tell you how many wild animals who come after me. I know the difference between a bluff charge and a full-on attack. And when I sense there's a full-on attack, well, here's your choice. You can get a bullet or you can get mace. And I'm not carrying around a gun with me, so therefore the mace worked, incapacitated the animal enough for me to get out of the area. Then the animal was perfectly fine when I saw him the next day. But I will tell you on a couple of them, they kind of kept their distance after that. Kind of associated something with me that was really painful the day before. Again, guys, we're talking about danger. We're talking about life. We're not talking about being cruel to some animal. We're talking about you being under full attack. Full attack. Okay, so you got to be able to survive that outcome. All right, so pepper spray, bear mace, even a taser can work. Even a taser. I'm not talking about a stun gun. I'm talking about a little taser, a little touch with the animal in CQB there, close quarter battle. I'm telling you what, these animals can kill you. Just pick up my book, The Hammer, Why Dogs Attack Us and How to Prevent It. That book was written about 4 years ago, and it contains, when you just open up the dedication pages, page after page after page after page of people who died from dog attacks. And most of them, it was their own dog. So imagine what the dog would now do to a stranger. And it was one-on-one. It was one-on-one. Now, mostly because they made mistakes. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Don't make that kind of mistake. Make sure you have a cell phone. Make sure it's charged. Make sure the darn thing is charged. Have a cell phone on you. Also have some sort of medical alert device. They make a ton of those out there nowadays. The technology is incredible compared to, they didn't even have it. All they had was help, I've fallen, I can't get up type thing. Well, they still have those. They still have sensors in which if you get knocked down, which is a good thing to have, because if a dog is attacking you, you're about to find out, you need to go down. On purpose, go down. Get to the ground as quickly as you can. So this thing will sense if you're all of a sudden you're on the ground. And they'll send out an immediate alert. Call those first responders. Have something. Remember, you're on your own. You're on your own. And I can't say that enough. So make sure you have some sort of backup system, medical alert. Make sure you have a GPS. And make sure people know about it. There's this thing called Life 360. It's an app. I'm not promoting. I'm just saying it's out there. You can have all sorts of things. You can have backup plans. Hey, guys, I'm going to this house on this address first. This one, this one, this one, this one. Leave that with someone. Leave it with them. Can you track me just a little bit? Think about it. Okay? And again, take it all within context. If I'm going to go see a Chihuahua, I'm still not going to let my guard down. I don't want to be bitten by a Chihuahua. Trust me, they're vicious little things. I love them, but man, they're tough. And they can just latch on to you. You don't want to be bitten by any darn dog. But it's a whole different story when I'm walking into the house with a big, gigantic Rottweiler, big old Mastiff, German Shepherd, Malinois. Oh my gosh, just keep it up. Be careful. Make sure people know where you are, know where you're supposed to be at any given point. Make sure that you can send out some sort of alert. You can make a phone call. All this. Make sure you have a first aid kit. And make sure you have something that you can put on a tourniquet. In my severe attacks to me, a tourniquet was put on me very quickly. One time by myself, another time by my veterinarian at my own vet hospital when I was attacked in the clinic. So on goes the tourniquet, mark a T on my forehead. Why do you mark a T on your forehead? By the way, a lot of people don't know that. Put it on your forehead so that people know that you have a tourniquet on. Many times you walk into an emergency room or you're being carted away by first responders. They're going to cover you with a blanket. There's this thing called shock, and it can actually kill you. Well, they may not even see the tourniquet. So mark a T on your own forehead. So have a Sharpie, have something, you mark a T on your own forehead. And then put that tourniquet on. Put it on tight enough where it stops the blood flow. Lose a limb, don't lose a life. Put the darn thing on. Get yourself some water. Make sure you have water in your backpack. Start sipping on some water in a real hurry. You lose blood, you lose water, you lose volume. Your heart has to work harder. All sorts of bad physiological things. Just do as I tell you to do here. Be ready. Have the stuff ready to go. And a lot of this vital stuff, like that tourniquet, that would be in my pocket. My cell phone's in my pocket. My bear mace is strapped to my side on a belt. I got things connected to my body. You know what's in my backpack? Probably a coat. Some sort of good stuffing in there. Well, I can feed it to the dog. I can have treats in there. Yeah, I can try treats, and you should always try treats. But I'm talking about if you're under attack. Okay, so moving on from there. Surviving a single dog attack. I've talked about this before on Facebook Live. I'll make sure I drop in the day that I talked about it. I apologize. I meant to look that up, but I just got busy this morning because I got some appointments ahead of me here in a real hurry. But anyway, I've done Facebook Live videos on surviving dog attacks. The biggest thing when you survive a single dog attack is to act completely different than a multiple dog attack. In most single dog attacks, the reason for it is not to kill you. It's to control you. Listen to those words, not to kill you, to control you, to control an outcome. It's either driving you off a valuable resource and driving you away from it, or driving you away from the dog because the dog's afraid of you. Single dog attacks are associated more with intra-group control, not interspecific murder. That's what happens with a multiple dog attack. With a single dog attack, do me a favor, hit the ground as quickly as you can. Go down in a controlled fashion. Any dog with any sort of power and torque will try and torque you into the ground like a corkscrew. They'll grab some limb and immediately twist, and down you'll start to go. I'd rather you go to the ground under full control. You're doing it. I'm doing it on my terms. My head is not going to smack the corner of that coffee table. I'm not going to crack my head on that cement floor. I'm not going to break my arm. I'm going down under control. You've got me. Okay, so what? You got me. I can survive this, and I will survive this. I'm going to the ground on my terms. So go to the ground. If you got your medical alert, I'll immediately set that thing off, and you know the cavalry is on its way. They're coming to you. Okay, make sure after that that you curl up and cover up. Curl up and cover up. Be silent. Be dead. It's game over. I'm not an opponent to you. You have vanquished me, dog. I am no threat. You curl up. Cover up that head. Cover up your neck. Cover up your face. Remember, when wolves kill wolves, they punch holes in their skull. The dog, if it means serious business to you, is going to go for your head. Go for your skull. Go for your face. Anything and anywhere it can grab. Because if this is an animal intent on harming you, it's going to go for those areas, and this is going to back off. If you curl up, cover up, you're protecting a lot of your vital areas. And if you just become dead, silent and dead, I promise you this, the animal will let go. It'll let go and it'll move away. It may not move far. So again, make sure you watch the video. I'm not going to go over all of that today. I've got it in my book, The Hammer, Why Dogs Attack Us and How to Prevent It. And I also have done a Facebook Live on this. Step by step, crawl away, don't walk away, try to crawl into a bathroom, crawl somewhere where you can put a physical boundary, object between you and the dog, some sort of barrier between you and the dog. Easier said than done. Stay calm as best you can. Yeah, it's okay if your stress response to be mobilized. It's what it's there for. Give you good cognition so you can think this stuff and remember what Bryan told you to do. Get that heart going, get that oxygen going. Yeah, get it. You can even rise to a point of self-analgesia. You may hear the animal chewing on you, but you won't feel it. You will survive this moment. Survive the moment. Single dog attacks, the only time people die from those is when they fight back. Do not fight back. I have never, ever investigated not one single case in which an adult, a healthy adult, a young, healthy adult, was killed in a single dog attack. If they had curled up and covered up, they would have survived that because they fought back. Don't fight back. Let it go. Let the animal win. Yeah, you win. Loser for me. And you won't get out of that situation. Okay, multiple dog attack. Sorry, guys, different story. Two dog attack, the mentality is to kill. Right then. That's called the mobbing effect. It's called facilitated aggression. It's called emboldening the animals. It's called we are together going to kill you. Anytime there's an attack from two animals, whether they're hunting an animal, prey, is the intent to kill it. When wolves get into a gang fight with other wolves, it truly looks like a gang fight. It really is. And in most cases, it's either the alpha male of both sides that are killed, the alpha male and alpha female. Why? Because they're out front. They're the big producers. They're the ones protecting their offspring. They're going like parents, right at it. And it's like they just throw the darn gloves off, like at a hockey match, and they get after it. And the intent is to kill. So if you are under attack from two dogs, you can try curl up and cover up, and I would definitely recommend start with that. See what happens. But if they do not discontinue their battle with you, their attack on you, then unfortunately, you're going to have to fight back. And when you do that, your love for pets is now gone. It's over. It's you or it's them. So if you got to swing something, swing for the fences. Swing hard or die, as I wrote in my book. You'll have to do that. I've been there. You will have to become an animal yourself. You cannot be a dog lover. That you reserve that for after you survive. You go back to being a dog lover. But at that moment, you're an animal that will vanquish them. And if that's not in your heart, that's not in your head, then you'll make the statistics list. So again, a whole different story. Go back, read it in my book, go watch the video, that I did on Facebook Live, survived a multiple dog attack. Okay, so if you do all these things, you go in there prepared, all the things I talked about yesterday and today, you will have a successful outcome. One way or the other. Even if you're attacked, you're going to get up, you're out there. You're out there to see it another day, maybe a little hospital bill or whatever, but you're going to see another day. You're going to watch another sunrise. If you go prepared, you can prevent dog attacks to you. And that's what this whole series is about. This isn't about how to feed a dog when you go to do pet sitting. That's grand. Figure that out on your own. You can figure it out. I'm talking about what happens in those few times. Yes, it is low ranking. It doesn't happen all the time. But it does happen. Fatalities have occurred from pet sitting. There's a long list of those. You can even do your own research. They're out there. There's even a greater list of people who have to undergo reconstruction surgery because of attacks that occurred when they went over to someone's house. Always expect the unexpected. That's probably the biggest advice I can give you. Walk through any door in which it's only you and only the dog or dogs, expecting the worst. You're on your own. It's up to your knowledge, your preparation, right then. And I pray that you'll have a successful visit, and most of you always will. You always will. I've gone to lots of homes, not a darn thing. I just mainly got barked on training because now, nice to meet you too, but can you get off of me? Absolutely. But then I've been in a few where it was a full-on attack, and it was business. So again, I was prepared. And because I was prepared, well, I'm here talking to you today on this video. So enter at your own risk, be prepared, do preparation ahead of time, don't be a stranger to a dog, become familiar, and then go in with all the equipment, skill set, calm your heart, get focused, go in there and do your job. The animal's fine, have a great time with the animal, show some love to it, feed it, take care of it, clean up the house, go around, look around the house, pick up things the owners might have left on the ground that could endanger the dog. Do your job and do it well, but then also survive it, so you're not one of those victims. Okay, guys, that's it for that. Pay attention to it. If you found this beneficial, or you know someone who does a lot of pet sitting, a lot of dog walking right now, trying to earn a little bit extra money, make sure that you pass this on to them, because I speak the truth about it. I've been there. I've done it. I've had blood drawn. So take it from me. I'm trying to get this to you so you don't have the same thing happen to you. Okay, guys, we're moving on. Got some more things to cover starting tomorrow, so I'll check in with you then. Until then, be safe and make a great training day while you're out there today. Okay, guys, take care.